Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Joshua Crisp, and I want to talk to you guys about how I grew one product over 10,000% in a 12-month period. I also want to formally introduce myself, as many of you guys will not know who I am. Like I previously said, my name is Joshua Crisp. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, and it took me a while to find that. I went to school, dropped out. Um, it just wasn't for me. My grades were bad. I just had trouble paying attention. My dad, he was in the union. He was a contractor, done that his whole life. Um, I dropped out. I got a deadbeat job making minimum wage. I worked night shift, third shift. So I was basically a vampire. I'd work overnight. I'd come home and sleep all day. Um, it was a recycling plant, so I actually hand sorted through trash, and life sucked. Fast forward, I stopped doing that. Uh, my fiance at the time became pregnant, and I decided to go into my own business. I'd worked with my dad on and off throughout my whole life, and I started my own construction business. What we specialized in was bathroom remodeling. So I did that, and I taught myself local SEO and local marketing. I grew the business, and it was the business was doing very good. It was profitable. I made a very nice living. It was definitely a nicer living than the 725 at the time to hand sort garbage. With that being said, I did that for about a year and a half, and every day I hated my life. The bills were paid. I saved money. We went on vacation, but I hated my life. It was pretty horrible. I was in pain all the time. I was tired. I was miserable, and on and off throughout that year and a half, I was constantly looking for the door and the barrier to entry to my entrepreneurial start to happen. I dabbled in a little bit with some retail arbitrage, and I started to dabble into SEO and try to rank and read and some stuff like that, and none of it really suited me. None of it really gave me that fire that I was looking for. I dabbled with some stocks, um, some shorts, and it just wasn't for me. So one year, what I did is I flew out. One of my buddies actually had a company and was big into SEO, and he was doing well for himself. So I flew out. He was in Florida at the time to talk to him, and tell him a little bit about what's going on. And I was going to try to partner with his company and and try to learn some things and try to get something going and scratch that entrepreneurial itch, so to speak. So long story short, what ended up happening is we ended up forming a partnership, something similar to what he was doing at the time. Um, so I started to go more into depth with marketing, started to learn more about SEO, which is search engine optimization. That's when my eBay kind of took off. I stopped doing the retail arbitrage, started selling some products on eBay. Um, I knew what Amazon was at the time, but I didn't know the beast that it was. I did some e-com stuff, some Shopify, some Weebly stores, and that was doing good. I was making even more money than I was doing construction, and my itch started to get satisfied at this point. It wasn't until December 2015, as you'll see right here, I got into Amazon. Now, I knew nothing about ungating, brand registration, all this stuff. So I started as actually a vendor, which I drop shipped items for Amazon. So what a vendor is basically you have an item that you manufacture or that you purchase in bulk, and then you advertise it on Amazon. It's actually sold by, fulfilled by Amazon, and you make a commission or you set a agreed upon price that Amazon pays you. I thought this was awesome. I didn't pay for shipping. There was no fees. We were making money, but it still wasn't much. You can see December we did a little under $115. Each month was a little bit of an increase, a little bit of an increase. May, June, it started to kick up. You can kind of see where I started to learn a little bit more about on-page optimization, titles, keywords, and in July, the big PPC. I started to learn PPC, a little bit about flash sales, a little bit about discounts, how to optimize, find keywords, do keyword research, all that good stuff. And from there, the itch started to get scratched. And I was an addict. It was like a drug to me. So every week, every month, every day, I was constantly striving to learn more. A lot of these guys that do Amazon, they say, hey, I work 3 hours a week and make $30,000 a month. That's a bunch of BS. I honestly work 60, 70 hours a week. Now I pull, mid seven figures a year now, and I still work 70, 80 hours a week. I'm work on the weekends. I work after work. I work, work, work. So it's all about what level of success do you want to reach. And the reason why I can work so much is because I truly love what I'm doing. And this has to be something that you love, what you're doing. The construction, I made a lot of money. There's a lot of people that make a lot of money in the construction, but I didn't love what I was doing, so I hated it. And when I was done, I didn't even want to think about it. I think, breathe, and sleep Amazon and marketing now. So you can see here, let's go ahead and scroll up so you can see this list from December 2015. We did a little under $115. Let's scroll up so you can see December 2016, we did 150,000, approximately, a little bit over, close to 10,000 units shipped. Now keep in mind, this is one product on Amazon, and this product's profit fluctuates between 45 and 50%. So it's a high profit. So you can see December I made a little bit, approximately 75 grand. So the reason why I'm telling you guys this and showing you guys this is that you're not going to come up with some magic trick or learn some secret technique that you pay somebody in a course that's going to take you from 0 to 100. You really have to put in the work. You see that these numbers, there were small incremental changes. 17 to 33, 33 to 40, 40 to 44. October to November was a big change, but you got to keep in mind November and December is the biggest time for Amazon and for retailers in general. Now let me go ahead and move this out the way just in case you guys think that I manipulated this. This is a numbers, kind of like Excel spreadsheet. Let's actually go to the vendor platform. The reason why I showed you guys that in an Excel is because it only shows you 12 months. It doesn't show you anything longer than that. So you can see these numbers here. They match up. Here's December, the same amount of numbers. This is a real account. You can see here in April, the numbers went down big from March. And that was actually because I had somebody hijack one of my listings. And there's so much to go over. I'm not going to go over all this in one video. I'll definitely be making a video for you guys on how to get rid of a hijacker, how to get rid of somebody who's infringing on your product or stealing your product. And no, you don't have to have a $10,000 patent. There's definitely ways around that. So there's definitely a lot of downfall about Vendor Express. I didn't know better. The product that I was selling at the time, to be in Seller Central, you had to be ungated. I didn't know anything about this, how to ungate products, how to even get in there. And I tried, I couldn't get in there. So I was lucky enough to get into Vendor Express. But there's definitely a lot of cons with Vendor Express. A few of them being right off the top of my mind that you can't control your price. It's subject to change at Amazon's terms. You can't control the pictures. You can't get creative with the pictures like you can in Seller Central. You can't have text. You can't have any type of highlights or any type of comparisons. As well as your text, your bullets, they kind of get to choose what you want. Once you submit it, they can change it around and manipulate it however they want, which sucks. And, that's definitely a factor for sales. With Seller Central, you can have your 6 pictures. You can control what you want in the pictures. Your title, you can control your title. If it's a holiday, like let's say Valentine's Day, you can go in and edit. You can add Valentine's Day in there, a Valentine's gift set, or Valentine's Day gift. This is something that I never had access to. So with the experience that I had with Vendor Express, and after mastering the PPC and the optimization and being frustrated because I could not control my listing, that's when I started Seller Central, the first of this year here. Being so busy with everything. Let's go ahead and see here. Okay, and here's Seller Central. Now you can see this is Seller Central account. Now I just started this. You can see there's no previous in May. There's no sales. Um, I can even go here year to date just to show you guys that I'm not lying to you. You can see January, February, March, no sales. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to month to date and apply that. This is one product that I put on Seller Central. You can see here it started right around May 9th. You can see the 1 unit, the 9 units. It started fluctuating as I started optimizing, doing keyword research and getting everything. And then here you can see this ginormous increase here, this big spike. That's when my PPC kicked in and the product started to rank. And you see that they capped out at 91 units, a little bit over 1,800 at 50% profits, a little bit over 900 for one day. It's not bad, huh? Now you can see this thing started to tank out. This is where I made the mistake of running out of inventory, which all of you guys do uh, at least once, especially when you're starting out with FBA with Seller Central. And the reason why this was new to me is because when I drop shipped through Vendor Express, we ship direct from my factory, from my warehouse. So I didn't have to worry about, creating an inbound shipment and the transit time, and then them receiving the packages and them going through the packages and sorting them and marking them as received. This is a process that was completely new to me. So now you can see after that period, they got back, and now it's starting to gain back momentum. You see 72 units. This was yesterday. Of course, there's a spike because this is the day that I'm recording. The day's not over. This is just a couple things I wanted to show you guys, especially the difference between the Seller Central and the Vendor Express. So with all that being said, guys, I know it was a really long video. I just wanted to thoroughly introduce myself and show you guys some of my grind, talk to you guys about some of my past struggles, and let you guys know that this isn't a pretty picture like everybody else paints it. You know, you can pretty much start your FBA endeavor at any point, whether you know nothing or you know a little bit. Definitely learn from other people's mistakes. Do your studying, check the content, follow the content, and learn from my mistakes. Try not to recreate them. So with all that being said, you guys definitely be looking out for the videos to come. I'm going to be dropping some content bombs that are definitely going to help you guys grow, help you guys succeed. And if you have any questions, comment below. Shoot us a like, a subscribe. It definitely help us out since we're nobody right now. And I appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys next time.